Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the debut record from Coffin Feeder, Big Trouble, out April 25th on Listenable Records. The album has 12 tracks, 35 minutes in length, and they are a Belgium deathcore band. Now, before I dive into the design of this record, I just want to say that this is perhaps not a concept album, but at the very least a themed record. Every song on this album is about an action movie of the 70s, 80s, so there is that backdrop, there is that theme, that sense of consistency, at least from a lyrical standpoint, throughout the entire record. Now, once you get to the design of the album, outside of a couple of songs that almost work like intros or interludes, the album is very fluid, very straightforward. You could even say that it's linear to a certain degree. Now, obviously 12 songs across 35 minutes makes the album feel very compact, it makes the album feel short. But I think this is actually the winning formula for a record that it's this heavy. If you start to go beyond that, the album starts to lose itself, becomes very difficult for the listener to stay connected with a record, and it becomes even more difficult to tell the forest from the trees. Keeping the album short, concise, compact, fluid definitely enhances the listening experience for an album as heavy as this one is. Now, as far as the sound is concerned, I want to start off by saying that the production on the record is excellent. I really like how they attack this album, keeping deathcore as the main genre, as the main source of influence within the sound. They were able to bring more traditional deathcore elements, some groove elements, some hardcore elements, in order to make the songs slightly different from one another, but not too far off the beaten path. And I find that to be an interesting approach for a record like this, because it makes the album feel more dynamic in a subtle way. It's not going to be a record that has incredible peaks and valleys, but it's definitely an album that feels more dynamic the more you get into it, and the more that you realize the individual nature of each song and what they bring forward. Now, on an album as brutal and heavy as this one is, you have to mention the drum sound. Powerful drum sound. There's not a single song on this record where the drums don't just blow you over. The drum sound, the execution, the power, the strength, the depth of sound that they offer the songs is impactful across each and every single track. This album has outstanding drum work beginning to end, and definitely puts a little bit of a fingerprint, or perhaps more of a fingerprint, on this album, almost as equal, if not equal, to what the guitar's fingerprint is all about. And the guitars on this album sound chunky, heavy, and that's perhaps expected, and they help create sometimes a sense of a massive sound, but they also drive the sound into more narrow paths, becoming more melodic, a little bit more groovier here and there. So you're gonna find a lot more movement within the execution and guitar sound than you do from the consistency of the drums. Both of them playing key roles throughout the entire record, but one definitely offering a little bit more movement than the other, and the other's offering a lot more size than the other. So drums giving size, giving strength, giving power, giving heaviness. The guitars offering heaviness, but also melody, narrowing it and expanding, while the drums do more of the depth within that expansion of sound. Very well put together. The production really enhances all of the qualities of this album, and perhaps more importantly, the production of this album enhances all the little nuances within the sound. Either be some orchestrational pieces, either be some melodic guitar melodies that come to the surface, or even the bass here and there playing an important role, but all of it, because of the production, really knows where to go within each and every single song in order for the tracks to enhance themselves. As far as the vocals are concerned, this record has some guest vocalists on it. Julien of Benighted is in one track, Porkchop Express, but there's the additional vocals on this record is not what sells the record. To me, the performance by Sven of Aborted on this album, this is his band as well, really matches the energy, it matches the song style, it matches the designs, the song structures, and it feeds into the machine absolutely perfectly. I thought his vocals sometimes almost felt unhinged, very different, or with some variations from what we've gotten used to as far as what he does with Aborted. On this album, he was able to go close to that, but offering a different perspective that matches this more deathcore sound a lot better, giving it more consistency to the tracks and to the record itself. And when you look at this album, and you look at this as a debut album, does not feel like a debut record. I mean, these guys have released quite a bit of music. They have a bunch of EPs and solo tracks under their belt. So this is not their first kick of the can. Everybody's super experienced. Everybody plays in other bands. So this is a record that, while being a debut album, is extremely well crafted, and it doesn't feel or sound like one. It's superior to what you would expect from a debut record of a band within this genre. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with If It Bleeds. This is a great track, super driven, super heavy, relentless track, powerful sound, width of drums, and just really insanity as far as those elements are concerned. The guitars also help speed up the track, creating this very demolishing experience. It almost feels like something is coming towards you constantly. The vocals really emphasize or help emphasize the overall brutality of the track, but if I had to describe this song in 2 words, would be sonic decapitation. That's exactly how this track feels. Next we have Love at First Death. I love the fact that this track really breaks, I'm not going to say the monotony, but it breaks the linearity of the record. It's a track that has some symphonic orchestral elements in it, and because of it, when you mix those with deathcore, the first band that will come to people's minds will be Lorna Shore. This band has the ability to bring these different elements into songs, create a little bit of something that's of their own. But a track like this, I think everybody that presses play on it is going to think a little bit about Lorna Shore, and they perhaps were influenced by what Lorna Shore has done within the genre of deathcore, especially when it comes to symphonic elements. So this is a very robust, very textured track with a lot of elements in it, but those orchestrations really solidify not only the quality of the track, but the epicness of the track. And I think that was an important element, not just for the sound of the song, but for the lyrical content on this track, for the theme of the track. That symphonic backdrop was extremely important for this song to come home, and for this song to hit all the right criteria, specifically starting off with the lyrics and theme of the track itself. Next we have Plane Zero. It starts off with a chug, almost reminded me of a Monomarth, Pursuit of Vikings. Not quite like that, but pretty damn close. So it has that very nice chug. It's a track that keeps that chug. The guitars really have that more of that vibe in terms of the heaviness that the track has. So perhaps feeling a little bit less deathcore and a little bit more death metal, with some melodic elements as well. Another track with a killer drum sound, really impactful from that perspective. And the vocals help define the momentums of the song. But it's a track that mixes in death metal with some groove, with some hardcore, some melodic elements. It doesn't feel as traditional deathcore as some of the other tracks on the record. This one feels a little bit more away from that and more into a traditional death metal sound and even death metal vocal approach. Great track, filled with brutality, an absolutely amazing song. These 3 tracks definitely all offer different elements. It's hard to detect them at first glance. This is an album that the more you dive into it, the more you listen to it, the more you're going to discover. These 3 tracks at the surface all feel, sound, give you the same sort of essence. When you start to dive deep into them, you see all of them are different. All of them have their own unique characteristics. It's just that the umbrella that they're under is exactly the same. This is it, Coffin Feeder, Big Trouble, out April 25th on Listenable Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.